and relentless with their running.
1987 pregame. Little NBA news here. NBA Hall of Fame, I'm telling you like it is. Also an update off that top 75 list. All kinds of good stuff. Having a good time here, my man Magic. It's Dave Scholler on Telling It Like It Is. My man Magic, of course, he's on the top 10 list. If nobody had that, they definitely need some basketball knowledge injection. You know how to put Magic back over here. Rosie into the booth. Rosie's in the booth. Hall of Fame weekend here. So, really excited. Great time here for basketball. March Madness coming. High school playoffs coming. The Suffolk County semifinal preview. Did that one already, so definitely check that out. Just some Hall of Fame nominees. I'm not going to go over some of the people that obviously I'm not even going to address. Just talk about players and coaches, obviously. And again, the Basketball Hall of Fame is not an NBA Hall of Fame, and fans need to realize that. It's a total package of basketball and your basketball accomplishments. So again, Basketball Hall of Fame. Manu Ginobili, without a doubt, is a Hall of Famer. I've never seen a person play more basketball in their life. This man played every offseason in the summer for his homeland. The guy played forever, two-time All-Star, two-time All-NBA, five-time six-man, four-time champ, and big-time clutch player. Obviously, his international contributions as well. Manu Ginobili is definitely a Hall of Famer, whether you like him or not. And again, that's what part of my thing is today, about people who just, have never seen people play, who are 15 telling you that Kevin Durant is better than Larry Bird is still a little bit insulting, but hey, I never saw the eyeball test. You always look online, you see the person in a group of 16. Yeah, they care about, swag and bullshit. But look at the numbers. Bird's got him beat in every category except scoring per game, and still has a better shooting percentage, and not to mention rebounds and assists and clutch. So, besides the fact that I love Kevin Durant, it's not Larry Bird. But anyway, Michael Cooper, as much as I love my 80s Lakers, and you know that with that 1987 preview, Michael Cooper, all-time defensive player of the year, five-time champ, and also had 2 rings as a WNBA coach. He's going to be close. I can't do it for selfish reasons. Michael Cooper, if I had to pick a team of 12, I would pick 4 defensive specialists. He would be one of them. So I always laugh. People always laugh, say he'd be on your all-time 12 team. Well, remember, I'm not picking the best 12 players. I'm picking the best 12 for a team. And so I have to have 4 stoppers on there. I have guys like him, Iggy, Rodman, and Scotty on there. And anytime somebody gets hot, maybe even Chris Bosh or Tayshaun Prince, one of those 4 out of those 6 guys, I'm subbing one of those guys in to cool off the hot player. And any one of those 6 could definitely do that. Maybe even Ben Wallace to make it a 7th. But Michael Cooper going to be close. If he gets in, I won't be upset. But if he doesn't, I understand also. George Karl, 6th in wins all time. Great coach with the Nuggets. Took them, and not the Nuggets, Sonics. Definitely George Karl belongs in the Hall of Fame. Anytime you're the 6th coach in wins, you belong top 10 in anything. You pretty much should be in there. Bob Huggins, again, it's not an NBA Hall of Fame. It's a Basketball Hall of Fame. Anybody who's 842 and 370 as a coach, myself, you belong in there. That's more than winning 2 out of every 3 games. That's absurd how good a coach he is. His teams always play hard. Missing that national championship, 2 Final Fours. But still, Bob is a great coach. His teams always play hard. And, he keeps it real. I like him also. He's not a kiss ass, a real basketball coach. It's kind of going to tell it like it is, which is why we like him on this program. Now, one of the most underrated basketball players of all time, because of all the hype and media crap that ruins the game today. His team's never made it to the NBA Finals, but he's also a college champ. He's also a college player of the year, and that's Marcus Johnson. 20 points a game, 7 rebounds, 3.6 assists for a career. 51.8% from the field in a league where they played defense back then. 5-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA. Truly one of the great players of the basketball that's never got recognized. I don't know how he's not in already. If you ever saw him play on those great Bucks teams are one of the truly frozen out teams of all time. What happened with them was Sixers in the 80s had some great teams, and then 83 had one of the best teams of all time. And of course, the 80s Celtics, who had some of the greatest teams of all time, 84 and 86 Celtics. One time they did sweep the Celtics, but the Sixers got them. So you have a situation there where those Bucks teams had Bob Lanier, Terry Cummings, Junior Bridgman, Sidney Moncrief, Marcus Johnson. These are really good teams, but the sometimes the overlap of the players' ages and years just didn't work out, and just great basketball teams could never get over the hump, even though they played in that ugly arena with those ugly uniforms. Great teams, but they get stuck and they get forgotten because they never won. And again, today people just focus on the person with little or no knowledge just talks about how many rings you have, and that's very important in the discussion, but it's not the only part of the discussion, and needs to be defined of how much it should weigh in the discussion. Marcus Johnson, one of the most. If you could find me 5 more underrated players of all time, let me know, please. We encourage your comments. We'll have you on. We'll do whatever you want. Marcus Johnson is incredible player. So to watch Marcus every day, well, back then we couldn't see him every day, but every time the Bucks were on, I made sure to watch. Just a great player. And I'm not a UCLA homer, but he was a great player and gets very much forgotten. Next guy I can't put in, Tim Hardaway. Great player, 17.7 a game, 8.2 assists a game, shooting percentage of 43%. Sorry, very good player, never the best player in the league at his position or top 2 or 3 players in the league at his position. 5-time All-NBA, 5-time All-Star. Respect the hell out of Timmy. Always played his ass off. I wish his son had his fire. But Timmy is a great player, but I just can't put him in yet. Maybe in a different year where we don't have anybody else, he'll have a better chance. You need 75% of the vote, by the way. There's 18 people on that voting block, but there's so many different committees that have you get a chance to get in. But Timmy Hardaway, and of course there are a lot of people who are up this year for the vote, but this is the class. I mean, like I said, I don't think Timmy belongs in there. He's a great player, and don't forget, being a great player is no slouch, and you're not criticizing a player for not wanting to put him in. And the world today, everybody's so damn sensitive, and everybody thinks call somebody a hater. Just because you're not a Hall of Famer doesn't mean somebody's a hater. He just doesn't belong in there as of now. Maybe he'll get it on one of those later events. And he had a great career, but just not doing it. The All-Star Weekend, which too many events now, but the best thing about the All-Star Weekend is the top 10 list. And again, you can argue about orders. And so you had, obviously, you had Mike on there, LeBron on there, Kareem on there, Bill Russell on there, Wilt on there, Bird, Magic, Oscar, Tim Duncan, and Kobe. Now, you can argue those 10. I saw some people want to know how Oscar Robertson is on there. Well, if you don't know anything about basketball, then maybe you don't know how Oscar Robertson's on there. But man, averaged a triple-double, and actually in a league where they actually played defense back in the day, and Oscar changed the game. First really big point guard. And I'm a Magic Johnson fan, but I know that Oscar's up there. And you could argue Jerry West getting in there. You could argue Shaq getting in there. You could even argue Olajuwon getting in there. But then again, you have to think about who am I taking out? Could you put Shaq in there for Tim Duncan? It's close. I mean, Tim Duncan probably the best power forward of all time, if not the best power forward of all time. Personally, Karl Malone could definitely have a stake in there. Kevin Durant could definitely be in there, and I love KD. But like I said before, this is you have to take somebody out. It's like when the parent comes to you complain about playing time. Well, who am I taking out? So you could argue Shaq in there, but I think Timmy D was a little more consistent. It's just some Bob Pettit, great player, but no one's going to mention him. So there's other great players who are left off this list. So top 10 player of all time. Again, not an insult not to be on this list, but and I'm not going to get into the order. I don't think LeBron's better than Kareem, but that's a story for another day. I'm happy my man Magic's in there, but of course that's a given. And like I said, that top 10 list, but again, the people in social media and the people with a low basketball IQ, it's really funny to, and again, people are arguing. I mean, people want to know where James Harden is. Well, if you don't play, you can't be a great. Sorry, you could be a great talent, you could be a great player, but you're not an all-time great. These guys who don't play today, who take time off and do this, let me know the load management of any of those 10 guys on the list. I mean, all right, LeBron's been hurt a couple of times, but everybody on that list played every day. And, Mike played 82 games, I think 10 years in a row. And guys just don't do that anymore. So for me, I don't want to hear about James Harden. I don't want to hear about Kyrie Irving. I don't want to hear about guys who take time off. People talking about Steph being in it. Yeah, now I know Steph is all, the great pick and the flashy guy, but if you break down Steph compared to those other players, a lot of these other guys had good statistics on the other end of the floor. I mean, Steph does have some positive defensive metrics this year, but we all know in every playoff game he's ever been in, they go right to whoever he's guarding and they try to take him out. Plus, he's a great player and he's changed a lot of the game. And in some ways, not his fault for the worst because everybody thinks they're Steph and they're not. But the thing is, not a top 10 player of all time. He's best shooter of all time, no doubt. Best shooter off the dribble of all time, no doubt. But again, got to play both ends of the floor. And I love Steph. He's my favorite player in the NBA right now, him and De'Aaron Fox. But you can't be a homer. And these people on these websites and the social media, just garbage. I mean, like you can't be a homer. So I'm not going to argue with you that Magic's the best shooter of all time when he's not, just because I'm a Magic Johnson fan. But today it's about very low knowledge base, people who don't understand the game and don't know the eyeball test and don't know the value of what a player does. Now, like I said, Steph creates opportunities for others, and he's one of the most unique players of all time, as well as the Warriors as being one of the most unique teams of all time. But I just can't put him in the top 10 yet. These other guys are all up there of, I don't know, they've won finals MVPs. I think every one of these guys on this list. Bill Russell's a member of probably the greatest, teams of all time as 11-time champ. But if you're going to go individually, I wouldn't put him in the top 10. But if you go for his accomplishments, you're going to go 11 rings. Rings is a part of it, but it's not the only part of it. So, you can have arguments all you want. People always try to talk down Wilt. I mean, for a man who, people go, oh, the guys are smaller than. Well, if you look up the centers of the 60s and the 70s, they're actually the same height and actually bigger by height than the centers of today. But again, if you're a low basketball knowledge guy and you don't look that up and you don't take the time to look that up, go look it up, see what happens. Centers back then are bigger. Wilt, missed 7 minutes in the season one time. So again, people forget, also an Olympic level athlete, high jumper. So obviously this man's a specimen, but great player as well. Also led the league in assists one year because he felt like it. So again, dominated the game. Again, so I don't really have a problem with anybody on that list. Of course, you can always debate. Like I said, Shaq for Duncan, maybe. Timmy D a little more consistent, but I think when at their best, I think Shaq is probably better than Timmy was. Shaq was just an unstoppable force. Again, Akeem, I definitely could put up there, and other great players. Moses Malone, 3-time MVP. People forget about him. He's lost in the shuffle many times. But again, there's a lot of discussion. That's good to have discussion. I encourage you to comment or come message me, reach out. Dave Scholler, telling you like it is. Reach out. Love to have you on. Talk some hoop. Be respectful dialogue. I love it. Would have a blast. But again, telling you like it is. Just talking about a little NBA here. Harden is now traded to the Sixers. There's only one ball. I hope they don't forget to run the offense through Embiid. And of course, Ben Simmons is now with the Nets. So that should be interesting. Again, I just can't imagine guys not wanting to play every day. It's just beyond me. So again, I don't want to hear about James Harden being a top 2 guard of all time if you're not going to play. Can't do it. So whatever you do to get yourself out of a place, you're not going to play. Sorry, is he a top 10 talent? Yeah, but that doesn't make you a top 10 player. There's more to it than just being talented. If we're just going to go by talent, then Sean Kemp is as good a player as we've seen in the last 40 years. If you're just going to go on talent, and so would Rasheed Wallace. So again, there's more to it than talent. Is commitment to the game, and James is a great player, but can't do it. I'm not taking it. I'd rather have D Wade, rather have Clyde Drexler. I'm not taking a guy that don't want to be out there every day. So again, this is Dave Scholler. I'm telling like it is, little NBA update. And we'll definitely see you next time. And
But Boston had other ideas, and they became a threat in Game 3.
Listen to Brent Musburger. Great stuff. Great stuff. Magic's gonna hit the skyhook at about 11 o'clock at night, though. Over 3 Hall of Famers. Magic. See you next time. Tell them like it is. Signing off.